Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on Ethereum. We're going to do a full update about Ethereum. We'll talk about some fundamentals. We'll talk about the ETF inflows. What do they look like? What does that mean? We'll talk about the fundamentals in general for Ethereum, and we'll talk about the technicals. What to expect in terms of the technicals going into today. Obviously, the last 24 hours were quite rough. Now, when it comes to Ethereum specifically, it also was not anything unexpected, right? If you watched my video yesterday on Ethereum, you would have been prepared for this move. All right, we knew this was coming, we knew it was most likely, we got that, and ultimately Ethereum has been able to reclaim back above the value area. My apologies, hopefully it's not a hiccup coming up, but we've been able to reclaim the value area low right here at 3,770 with relative strength, while the market is also recovering. So ultimately Ethereum is relatively stable. Now we'll talk about what to expect technically a little bit more over the course of this video, of course, but let's start off with some fundamentals, because honestly, at this point of time, the fundamentals for Ethereum are not amazing. And I've said this in my last couple of videos as well. And personally, look, I'm not an ETH bear, all right? I think Ethereum can still do incredibly well over the course of the end of 2025 if the market conditions, if the market circumstances are right. And I think going into 2026, Ethereum still has massive fundamental value as well. But there's a couple of things that I am short-term worried about, all right? And that's basically three things. First of all, it's ETH BTC, right? ETH BTC since May has been in an uptrend. So Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin since May, basically, which you can see right here. And this is the first time, the last month, that has gone into a downtrend on the daily time frame, into a real downtrend. We had a bit of a deviation right here, as you can see in June, but ultimately that really meant nothing. So this is structurally, fundamentally bearish. Outside of that, if you take a look at the Ethereum ETF inflows, which hopefully you can see that right here, it's relatively small, but okay. What you can see right here is that the ETF inflows are also decreasing. Like if you take a look at this since July we had massive ETF inflows. Since then, it's been in the downtrend, right? The institutional interest in Ethereum, especially for ETH, which is one of the ETFs, is incredibly weak at this point of time, and it's decreasing. And then outside of that, and I name this sometimes, if you take a look at the Ethereum queue, right? So how much Ethereum wants to exit being a validator and potentially wants to be sold off. There's still a massive exit queue that's actually growing at this point of time. So that's Ethereum that's staked by validators, that those validators want to unstake for whatever reason, but let's assume that they want to sell off a portion at least. Probably not all, but still, I mean, there is some selling pressure coming from this. So ultimately, those are three things fundamentally that make me slightly bearish on Ethereum, and that's also why I think it's quite unlikely at this point of time that we'll get a breakout above our main resistance level between 4,300 and 4,100. And the only way we could do that is if Bitcoin turns very, very bullish. So fundamentally, I'm a little bit worried about Ethereum, and I think you need to be as well. It's ultimately up to you, but okay. Now, if we talk about the technicals, I think Bitcoin is forming a nice local bottom right here. I think the fundamentals in the general financial markets are also good enough to expect at least Ethereum to hold some stability here. And I think the price action we've seen in the last 24 hours is confirmation for that as well, right? So technically, I'm actually not that bearish on Ethereum. I think we can hold the value area low at 3,770, and I think we can get a move into 4,000, possibly even into 4,100 again. But ultimately, that means that we are just moving from the bottom of the range to the top of the range, and a real breakout I do not see happening soon. I will keep you updated on that though, in general as well. When the fundamentals change, when there's something interesting technically going on, I'll be the first to tell you. But for now, I think that is everything you need to know regarding Ethereum regarding the fundamentals and technicals for Ethereum. Those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend in advance, and bye.